Hi. Today's topic is before he breaks your heart, look for 3 red flag signs that he won't commit. I'm Dr. Diana Kirshner, and you may know me from my Amazon Prime TV show, Love in 90 Days. I'm thrilled to be with you here on my Facebook page, Dating to True Love Mentor. We meet every Thursday at 2 live. And I'd love comments, so please let me know where you're watching from. I jump on here after the live so I can respond to comments. And please, hit the like button or the heart button and give me a wow face if you can hear me loud and clear. Sometimes a guy can come on like gangbusters in the beginning, and it seems amazing and kind of cool. It seems amazing, right? It seems like he's the one. It's incredible. You're having these long conversations, you're having great sex. And then when things get into the commitment phase, that gray area where you're not sure exactly where things are at, or if there's a future or not, and you really, really want a lasting, committed love relationship, you have to be very, very careful at that point. You don't want to have invested a lot of time and energy in someone who actually at that very point does not step up, does not commit, and really breaks your heart. And you wind up being in the exact same position as you've been before. You're disappointed, you feel heartbroken, you feel crushed. You say to yourself, I'm never going to let this happen again, right? You make this resolution, I'm never going to let this happen again. The question is, how do you never let it happen again, right? Because it's so confusing in the beginning when you start with someone and things are wonderful. It just can be very, very confusing, especially when you're feeling so great and, you want what you want and you think this is not going to be the same kind of thing where the guy's not going to commit. So today we're going to talk about 3 red flag signs you can look for in the beginning. These are red flag signs that you can see in the beginning that will tell you that this guy may be a commitment phobe. Okay? And that can really, really be helpful to get a sense of who you may be dealing with. Okay? So the first sign, it's number 1, is notice what he's saying about other people's marriages or their committed relationships. You want to notice what he's saying. Is he very negative about the person's marriage? Does he talk about his boss's marriage and say, oh my God, his wife is awful, that he's suffering, it's a mess, it's terrible? Does he talk about his friend who's living with a woman and how he has no freedom? Is he talking negatively? Is he noticing what's wrong with lasting relationships and not what's right? Every relationship, hey Denise, every relationship has its ups and downs. And men who are the marrying kind, they notice the positives in relationships. They think positively about marriage. They think positively about living together. That's their zeitgeist. That's their value system. So the first red flag is to notice if he's talking very negatively about people who are in marriages or in relationships in his network of friends, coworkers, and family. That's very, very, very telling. Number 2 red flag. Does he have a history of brief relationships, right? A history of brief relationships. So he's been with this one 4 months, that one 8 months, this one maybe a year, this other one maybe 19 months. You getting the picture? So we're seeing a pattern, and in that pattern, when it comes to commitment, he is not rising to the occasion. This is the kind of pattern that you will see in someone's past. It's like when you hire someone for a job. It's not very good if they have a very checkered history where it's very brief, working for different companies, right? This is someone who has ambivalence and has some problems. Well, it's very similar when you're dating someone. You see that this is the pattern, that there's just been a history of very brief relationships. You want to think about that, right? Even if he was married, he may have been married, but how long did it last? Was it also very brief, right? So this is something to definitely look at. And number three, let's say he came on like gangbusters in the beginning, and then he says he's not sure about a relationship. He's just not sure. Okay, red flag, red flag, red flag. Because a commitment phobe is always ambivalent. I'm almost always ambivalent. In other words, they want a relationship, but they don't want a relationship. They want a relationship until it looks like it's really going to stick. Then they don't want a relationship. They want a relationship, but then when things really evolve, they start getting frightened, and that fear gets stronger and stronger and stronger until when it comes time to get engaged, it comes time to move in together, they're really getting cold feet, and they disappear on you at that point. So when someone says they're not sure they want a relationship, you want to listen to that, and you want to consider that. You know, people speak the truth. Often we women will feel like, oh, we could make it all work out, or, oh, he really loves me, oh, I'm perfect for him, you know, and we will ignore what the guy says. But I want you to actually listen very carefully to what the guy is saying. If he says he's not sure, he may not be ready, I mean, this is a red flag. So these are 3 red flags to look for, right? In the beginning, you can begin to see them. And if you're really wanting a lasting love relationship, you know, you really, really are. If you see these red flags, you want to think very, very carefully about this situation, right? And the thing to do is to have some serious conversations with this person, some serious conversations. You know, talk with him about how he sees relationships. It's interesting. Don't you notice that your best friend who's married to Sally, how he seems a lot happier since he's been married, right? Are you noticing what's right about their relationship? Are you noticing what's right about your boss's relationship? You know, you want to ask these questions. Hey, Gita. You want to ask these questions because someone who is remaining with this really negative view of relationships is not going to have an easy time to step up with you. Also, you want to ask about their history. You know, it's interesting, Joe, you had all these brief relationships. How do you view that, right? How much insight does he have about his own pattern? If the guy has insight, it's actually a very positive thing. Well, you know, I think I'm afraid, blah, 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 blah. Or let's say he's even been working on it in therapy or coaching. That could be positive. But once again, you're going to push into this number 2 red flag to see about this pattern of brief relationships. You want to know about that, right? So you're going to push into that red flag sign number 2. And then number 3, you know, if he's saying he's not sure about wanting a relationship, you want to question him about how he views that and what that means to him. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to be in a love relationship? What does it mean to you to have your freedom cut off? What does it mean to you? You know, each guy has a different set of meanings. You know, he may have come from a family where his parents had a very negative, cantankerous divorce, and they suffered quite a bit. So he may come from that. You want to know what this all means about having a relationship or not having a relationship. Don't be afraid to bring up the hard stuff. You know, sometimes women are afraid to bring up the hard questions, the deep questions. But you need to push into the person. If you're considering opening yourself up even further and being more vulnerable to this person, you want to know what's going on with them. You know, marrying kind of men, the research shows that marrying kind of men tend to come from intact families, that is, the parents didn't divorce, and they come from more spiritual or religious families, and they often have a more spiritual practice themselves. So that's just worth noting also. Anyway, if you have this conversation with this guy about these 3 red flag signs and you're not feeling it in your gut, remember your gut, your instinct, your intuition is what you want to trust. And if your gut is not feeling it, you may want to consider taking a break or breaking up with him altogether, right? Because you don't want to waste your precious time. You don't want to waste your wonderful, precious time with someone who in the end is going to crush you, or going to have you feeling crushed or left or sad and rejected and feeling like you're back in the same place that you've been before. You don't want to waste your time. The truth is that there are plenty of amazing guys out there who want lasting love, and you just gotta go for it. And you know, we've had so many people in our Love Mentor coaching program who've proved that over and over and over again, no matter what their age, their dress size, no matter what it is. So you don't have to stick it out with someone who's not going to come through for you. You deserve someone who's going to step up and come through for you 100%. You know, this reminds me of a case we had in our Love Mentor coaching. You know, this young woman who was really reaching her biological, you know, clock time. She was approaching 40. She was very upset, and she herself was having a lot of serial relationships where they seemed to run off. The guys would run off and break things off with her between 4 and 6 months after. They would come on like gangbusters, and then they would just disappear. They wouldn't step up for her. And she worked with her coach. She emboldened herself to look for the signs of someone who really wanted lasting love, and she worked on her diamond self-identity, and she met a great guy, and he was one of the marrying kind. Actually, he came from a family where the parents were not divorced. He was religious and she was religious, so it worked out really great. And you know, she's doing fantastically with this guy. She's living with him and they're having an amazing time. And tried to get pregnant. So you know, there's no need to waste time on people who are not going to step up for you. You deserve a lasting, passionate love relationship with someone who is just right for you, who's crazy about you. And you know, the stuff I'm talking about is in the new book, Love in 90 Days, the 10th anniversary edition. So there's just one little nugget from there. If you want to read some more about that, definitely get yourself a copy. And if you're struggling in a relationship in a gray area, or you want to prevent this from happening again, you may want to have a session with one of my amazing Love Mentor coaches. It's free. There's a 40-minute session. You can talk all about whatever's on your mind. And all you need to do is go to lovein90days.com. That's lovein90days.com. Click on the coaching tab and fill out the form. And please put that you came from the Facebook video, which I really would appreciate knowing that you're part of this tribe. And, you know, you'll be talking to one of the Love Mentor coaches by phone or Skype before you know it. And I adore them. They're so amazing. So thanks for watching, and please share this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the bell and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love you guys. I'll be talking with you soon. Take care.